thank you all for joining us today. I know after the absolute walloping of snow that we had over the weekend in some parts of Ontario, a lot of us are busy kind of catching up on things. So we especially appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to be with us for this hour. I'm your host, Eldridge. I think looking at our attendees list, most of you know me already, but for those that might not, I'm a researcher and educator at Toronto Metropolitan University. I'm a board member on the Ontario Printing and Imaging Association, the OPIA, the organization that puts on this series of webinars, PrintPulse Live series. And of course, I'm a longtime industry professional working in print and graphics. But what we're really here for, of course, is our lovely guest, Leslie from Punch Media, who is going to be talking today about building visibility on LinkedIn in 2026 for professionals. So welcome, Leslie, and thank you all for joining today. Before we get into our talk, I do want to start off with just a quick land acknowledgement, recognizing that we are thankful to be able to work and live in these territories. And I know that land acknowledgements can sometimes start to feel like an obligation, a kind of solemn moment before we get to the real stuff in the session. And I've been talking to a number of people about this recently, and I think it's worth calling out that they've often become this sort of stale thing, that if a land acknowledgement is simply a script that we read and move on from, it's not really doing its job. So today I want to do something a little bit different. I'm speaking to you from Toronto, which is on the traditional territory that was occupied by many First Nations over the centuries, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. And today, the area remains home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, Métis people, and it's covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. An acknowledgement really should be tied to responsibility as well. It should push us towards learning, towards relationships, and towards understanding, not just a verbatim statement that is quietly read and then shuffled aside for the main course. That said, I would genuinely welcome your thoughts and feedback after this session about what I've said here about this land acknowledgement and about land acknowledgements in general. I think discussion and community always make us stronger in these regards. The focus on this session really is on taking a practical approach to LinkedIn for busy professionals, without all the noise and the clutter. And our guest speaker, Leslie, who's going to touch on a range of topics today, focused on advice that you can start incorporating almost immediately into your habits. Things like developing simple, sustainable visibility routines, something manageable that keeps you visible on LinkedIn without it becoming a second career as a content generator. What we know about the algorithm in LinkedIn, as we were talking about, as some of you were joining the call, just because you post something doesn't mean that your network sees it. So how does LinkedIn make decisions about what to show to who? And Leslie will go through some tips and some best practices based on at least the information available. It's a little bit of a black box, so everyone's navigating it as best that we can. Essentially, how we can adjust our activity so that you get the best returns for your time spent. She'll also highlight critical profile areas you might want to optimize, areas that matter most for things like credibility, searchability, and attracting the right conversations through the platform. And to round things out, she's got some strategies for practical ways to connect, to comment, and to share so that you stay top of mind with key accounts and prospects. So today's session, of course, is going to be led by Leslie Hughes, the founder and CEO of Punch Media. She brings more than 25 years of experience across sales, marketing, digital strategy, and education. She focuses on helping capable professionals show up on LinkedIn with clarity, with credibility, and with confidence, without feeling like they're performing or bragging. She's worked with organizations including Scotiabank, Franklin Templeton, Skip the Dishes, TVO, and she teaches social media marketing and digital media. Her work has been featured on CBC Radio, Global TV, CTV's The Social, and she's the author of a book called Create, Connect, Convert. So with that said, I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to turn things over to Leslie to get into things. Thank you so much for joining us today, Leslie.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited. One little bit of bits of housekeeping. I tend to talk really quickly, and this is going to be chock full of information. So I'm going to do my best to make sure that this is interactive because I get so excited. I want to do like a brain dump of my head into everyone else's so that they have as much knowledge as I do. Sometimes I have to reel myself in with the excitement that I have about this. So I do hope this is interactive. Please bring your questions. I will make specific pauses for questions. I hope this is interactive. I want everyone to have at least one, maybe more takeaways of today's session. And so with that being said, unless there's anything to say, we can just get started.
Yeah, and Ken and I and Heather and Matthew from OPIA will be monitoring the chat as well. So if there's something that gets glossed over or something, we'll try to help bring that back to the conversation.
Amazing. Okay, so there will be some discussion. So I'm just going to share this large screen so everybody can see it. Again, thank you everybody so much for joining today. I guess you don't know me, don't need to know about me because that was a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much. And as was mentioned, we are going to cover quite a bit of information in this hour-long session. I'm happy to stay on a little bit longer if anyone needs as well, but you're going to get so much actionable information. Hold on to your hats. But it is recorded, so you will be able to access it later as well. And if you ever need to reach me, of course, my email is leslie@PunchMedia.ca. So we're going to talk a little bit about the algorithm, and we're going to also break down my little book called Create, Connect, Convert. We're going to create a strong first impression. We're going to make quality connections, and then ultimately sharing great content, commenting, interacting, engaging, so that you can stay consistent without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling like you're bragging. All of those fun things we are going to, believe it or not, cover within an hour. So hold on to your hats. One of the first quotes that I love to share in the beginning is a quote by Jeff Bezos, who says that your personal brand is what people say about you when you leave the room. And the reason why I love to start with this is twofold. Number one, most of us don't take the time to reflect on our unique value. Most of us don't take the time to look at, what are we bringing to the table? What are my biggest accomplishments? What do people need to know about me? And we want to do that through the lens of our clients and our potential clients. So the things that you may have done throughout your career, most of us don't look at ourselves through that lens. But that's the goal with LinkedIn, is that you want to be creating a powerful first impression that you can feel proud of and also wows and fascinates and attracts customers to you from that perspective. And in 2026, we're now all, believe it or not, we're all brands. We're all humans. We have our personal brands. We have our organizational brands. We are all brands, and we're all media agencies using channels like LinkedIn to share great content, build connections, and win clients. And so I want you to be thinking about that through that lens as we go through some of the aspects of building your profile. So LinkedIn. Okay, it's the little engine that could. LinkedIn was launched before, if you can believe it, before Facebook. So it's been out there longer in the social media world than some of the other ones that are more popular, but it is the professional site where professionals and decision makers are investing time instead of wasting time. So there's a psychological difference about why we're using LinkedIn. With over 1.2 billion members in the world, 73 senior level influencers, and 45 million decision makers. Again, this is the channel. And actually, I read a statistic recently that said that LinkedIn is one of the most trusted sites, certainly social media sites out there for content. Makes sense, right? This is the business channel. So usually people are a lot more cautious using this channel than maybe sharing misinformation, as we might see on other business to consumer channels. And while I've been really excited to talk about the changes that are coming along with the LinkedIn algorithm, I'm now actually sort of backing up a little bit about my excitement about the changes, because I just had a sneak peek. I was working on a client's profile a few days ago. And so I've been listening sort of to all of the whispers about all of the changes to the algorithm and how this is going to be so dynamic as we're leaning into more AI-driven based algorithms. I didn't see that when I had logged into my client's profile. He's in the US with a premium account, so I sort of saw the different navigation as we get into the section where we're looking for new clients. I'll kind of explain that a little bit more. But what is coming down the pipeline is that this new algorithm called 360 Brew, or at least that's the rumor. There's been no official word from LinkedIn itself, is focusing more on niche quality content, quality connections. The information that you're sharing is meant to only find a certain niche. And so I was talking with Lee a little bit about vanity metrics, which I'll explain a little bit now. So vanity metrics, we have to be a little bit careful of. I love a good vanity metric. I can sit here and say, oh, I've got 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. Sounds amazing. But how many of those 10,000 followers are actually people that see my posts, that engage with my posts, that are buying my stuff? That number is certainly not 10,000. I can tell you that much. So we have to be a little bit careful about those metrics. And what LinkedIn is now doing with this algorithm shift is making these communities smaller. So ideally, you are getting the content from people that you want to see and vice versa. So this is where it comes into, you don't want to be everything to all the people all the time. You want to narrow down a niche and become a specialist in your niche as well. And from a content perspective and from your profile perspective, that usually comes with the hook or the very first line. So think about things like headlines in a newspaper or a magazine. Everything that you send out, you want to draw people in from that first impression. So we're going to talk about that a little bit as we go. Just wanted to sort of set the framework about how this algorithm is going to be changing. And we're going to be discussing it throughout the presentation. So stay with me. So breaking things down into those bite-sized steps, as I said, I am very excited. I have a lot of content. I talk a lot, but the framework that we're going to be showing today or talking about today is that first impression. You want to have a profile that you feel proud of, that when people land on your profile, they see you as the confident and competent professional that you are. We're going to make quality connections on LinkedIn. You don't want to connect with everyone. You want to connect with people that you know and people that you want to get to know. And if you don't want to connect with everybody, that's perfectly okay. That's an ideal strategy, actually. You don't want to connect with just everyone out there. Everyone is not a strategy. And lastly, that content development, which arguably maybe at some point is the hardest part of making sure that you're staying consistent and visible. So we'll get there. So this is the interactive part before I even start I'll open the floor for questions sort of as we finish the create pillar, if you will. So we'll talk about your profile first and what's important about that, and I'll open the floor. But I want to ask you, and you can put it right into the chat, let's just say from a prospect's perspective, a client's perspective, which one of these two profiles would you be more likely to trust? Which one would you connect with? And more importantly, what about that first impression really stands out to you? So I'd love to see in the chat, person A or person B, what do you think is, and of course you can kind of tell, I mean, it's a little bit of a rhetorical question, but I would love to see from you what stands out or what detracts you from the profiles that you're seeing in front of you. And just go ahead and put it into the chat. Or if anybody wants to jump into the conversation, I'm happy. Okay, so we've got B. So Lee's saying it looks engaged and invested a lot. The person A looks like an abandoned house of a profile. Absolutely. Specifically, is there an person B, very professional, person A is very generic. Yes, thank you, Harold. Is there anything that draws your eye to the profile from, let's just say you go onto LinkedIn, you search for two people, you try to make the decision about which one of these professionals would I like to work with? Is there something specific? B, it doesn't seem like you can trust if they don't share a photo. Amanda, that's exactly what I was looking for. So yes, your professional headshot is arguably one of the most important aspects of your profile, believe it or not. And so having a first impression that you look confident, you look competent, you look like a professional, you're showing up, you're dressed appropriately, you're not, I've seen so many profiles where people are maybe running a marathon, graduating from school with their kids. Believe it or not, I've even seen people post their profile with no shirt on. And so I think maybe showing up with a shirt, maybe just some clothing on the World's Professional Network is probably the smart idea. So think about that first impression. How you would show up to a meeting is exactly how you want to show up with that first impression from a visual standpoint, with your holding a fish, unless you're a fisherman. Yeah, so one of the things I had said to my students is, even if they were a bodybuilder, you'd probably show up to a meeting with a suit on and not in your Speedo. So even if you're a fisherman, but I understand if that's your brand, we could talk about it a little bit. So definitely choosing B is I think for most of us is the most important, from a visibility standpoint. Of course, I didn't want to shame anybody, so we've got a Jane Doe here, not a real person. You see where I'm going with this, is you want to have a first impression that really stands out. What I like to say is stand out with your brand out, that stands out, that shows that you are, the person that people want to work with. And that starts often with not only your photo, that first impression, but also what's called this banner image in the background. And that banner image can be whatever you want it to be, however you want to visually show up. And as print professionals, I would assume that many of you have great visuals that you can share with your potential clients and your clients about things that you have done from a print professional perspective. Ooh, look at that alliteration. I love it. So show up with a visual presence that lets your clients and your potential clients know your competencies, your brand, how you deliver, however you want to show up. We can certainly discuss some of those things. Then going from the top down, and I've actually changed my banner since the screen grab, and I change it all the time, quite frankly. There's no one saying that once you create it and set it, you can forget it. I'm constantly changing either the images and or the wording, because I think, how do we tweak this a little bit better? And now with AI, we have some tools that we can make things a little bit better as well. The next area that we're going to be focusing on, and I'm going to go through some of this as we go as well, get a little bit more details with some examples, so you can screen grab, do my best to take some of the guesswork out. So once you see your photo, your headline is then the next section that is very important from a keyword perspective, from the reader's perspective. And in fact, we want to be writing for both the reader and for the algorithm, which makes things a little bit complicated. I'm always reader first. If it's a great story and people understand who you are, what you do, and how you help, they'll stay in the story as long as it's interesting. So you can see here my screen grab. I tell a very long story. I kind of always do. That my summary section, which is now called the About section, is quite long. I do my best to lead with a very strong hook statement. You can see I've got a lot of white space. It's not just one big block of text, but in fact, it's short bursts of text and drawing the eye to certain areas with bullet points and so forth, maybe capitalized letters, to bring the eye to certain areas as I'm navigating and telling the story of who I am, what I do, and how I help. So we're going to go through that a little bit, but this, if you do nothing else on your LinkedIn profile, this area is the most important. Your photo, your headline, and your About section. Okay, we're going to go through these a little bit step by step. All right. So what you can do is identify, instead of just having your name at your company or maybe a unique value proposition headline, ideally you want to include both. You have 220 characters to let people know who you are, what you do, and how you help. Mine is a little bit broken up into keyword facing. I do a lot of keywords because I wear so many hats. I don't kind of want to limit myself, but I'm working on that. I'm changing some of my branding on my LinkedIn profile because this can sometimes be hard. Why? There's a 16th century philosopher by the name of Blaise Pascal who said, if I had more time, I would have written you a shorter letter. Narrowing down your headline is arguably one of the hardest things to do, and more people struggle with this, especially if you believe that your competency is applicable to all sorts of diversified industries. Well, I do this, but I can also do this, but I do this, but I can also do this. And so I understand that it feels really, really limiting to identify your niche, but in 2026, the more niche and the more specialized, the better optimized you are for the people who are looking for what you have to offer. And you want to be that niche, that specialization is what you want, how you want to be found and how you want to appear throughout your profile. So if you can, I've got some examples for you. This headline suggestion is just a sort of a framework, but I've got some specific examples that you can also take a screen grab of here. So you can write, I'm not going to read all of these because there are quite a few, but I'll at least read one. You can say that you're a print sales professional if you're in sales, helping marketing teams in blank industry deliver reliable, high quality print campaigns. We've got other ones. I'm going to go down maybe to the bottom. Maybe you are an owner at your printing company, partnering with these clients on complex print projects and achieving long-term results. Again, really writing for the reader, what's in it for who, identify those people so that they can raise their hand and say, yes, I want to receive more information from you. This is who I work with. This is how I help them. It, in fact, surprisingly doesn't limit people from saying, but you also help people like me. In fact, I have a wide range of clients who know that I work with it within a specific niche, but also have said, but do you also help these people out? And I can help you out too. So it doesn't limit you. In fact, it's kind of like, I use the metaphor of, when there is an emergency and someone just cries out, somebody call 911, and nobody knows who to turn to because everybody's sort of pointing the finger at each other. But if the person says, you, please call 911, and directs it directly at a person, then that person knows, okay, it's my responsibility now. You kind of want to do that a little bit with your clients. You want them to really self-identify that you're the specific person that they want to work with. And that makes you look more like the expert that you are. So again, these are just some examples that you can play with. And whether or not, if you're comfortable with tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, even Copilot, ask it to help you write. I mean, I'm taking money out of my own pocket because that's what I have been doing for the past 15 years is writing LinkedIn profiles. But I too am leaning into the world of AI and figuring out how can I use it to help optimize my clients' profiles using these kinds of tools as well. So the structure of a LinkedIn summary, and this, when I'm working with my clients, can take sometimes up to 10 hours for me to identify all of these elements in their profile from top to bottom. If you're looking to outsource this, please give me a call. I'm happy to help. But the framework of itself, again, you want to lead with that introductory hook of, I work with these people. It may sound a little bit redundant from the headline then happening again in the summary. That's okay. Assume that people don't read. Really, our attention span as human beings is less than a goldfish now. So people don't read, and repetition is good. So open up with the hook about who you are and who you work with. One of the other aspects that I love in storytelling that AI is not going to help you with is the emotional piece of the story. And I love to ask the Simon Sinek, if you've seen Simon Sinek, he says in his TED Talk, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So if you want to, go ahead and write that down. What's your why? Why did you decide to get involved in the print industry in the first place? And or what about it drives you? What about it why do you stay in the industry? What excites you about it? How driven and passionate are you to produce results for your clients? And the reason why I asked that client that question about the why not only taps into the emotional psychology that really helps draw the reader in, but it's a really great way for you to reframe your brags. So if you're afraid of, but let's say I don't want to talk about how accomplished I am, people are going to think I'm full of myself. I get this all the time. And I understand the nervousness. I thought it was a female thing. I thought it was a Canadian thing. And the more people I talk to, it's an everybody thing. Most of us are terribly nervous about putting ourselves out there and telling our story for fear of, oh, well, what happens if someone judges me and they think I'm just so full of myself? Here's a reframe for you. Number one, LinkedIn is the channel you're supposed to include your accomplishments. So LinkedIn is really the channel that people want to work with the best. And if you're not putting yourself out there as the best person to work with, they're going to move on to someone else. So own the value that you bring. No one else in the world knows what you know from your perspective. So that's the first thing. We'll get into another little bit of cheerleading in a little bit. But know that putting your accomplishments on LinkedIn are not bragging. They're facts. I think it was Dizzy Dean that said it ain't bragging if you did it. So put it on your profile and let people know. And again, if you reframe it that you're coming from a place of service, it doesn't sound so much like it's bragging. It sounds like you're really there to help your clients do the best for yourself and for whatever they want to accomplish. So whom is it that you serve? What niche? How do you uniquely help them? That's what's going to be the differentiator, because there can be a lot there's a thing called AI slop out there too. I've seen so many profiles where people are like, I help all the people all the time, do all the things. Just say anything. What's your unique superpower? So I want you to tap into that. It's not going to be easy, but I want you to tap into that. Another quote that I say all the time is, when you're inside the jar, you can't see the label. When you're inside the jar, you cannot see the label. Most of us don't look at ourselves through that objective standpoint. So again, think about it from your client's perspective. What do they need to see about you? Maybe some of those bragging things are your years of experience. Maybe there's some of the clients that you've worked with. If you can quantify some of your results, these are important pieces to include and are going to help solidify that they can trust you. And that's what they're buying. They're buying your reputation, your trust. Can they invest with you? And the amount that they invest with you is directly proportionate to the amount that they trust you. So how are you proving to them that you're a trustworthy individual, right? Something else to consider, and again, AI is not necessarily likely to lean into this. Once you've gone through, I work with these people doing these things, and I love helping produce these results, tell a little bit about your story if you want to. It's up to you. But I love to add a little human story at the end of, like, in my non-working time, I love to fish. In my you can make it cheeky. If you've got a personality and you want to be playful, go ahead. I had one client one time say, when I'm not working, I'm on the hunt for New York City's best burger. And I thought that was a great icebreaker for people that were looking through his profile if they reached out to say, so what is New York City's best burger in town? So things like that, where if maybe you say, like, I beat myself up every year hoping that the Leafs are going to win. Those kinds of things are fun and playful ways that maybe will break the ice when you connect human to human. And then lastly, and I will take a breath, I promise. Lastly is that call to action, especially if you're looking to win clients, is how do you want people to reach you? So these are just some of the elements you want to consider in your LinkedIn summary, which is why it's so long, because I got so many things to say. But your story is yours to tell. And so really think about that through that lens, through that perspective. I suggest writing it in a Word document or a Google Docs, because LinkedIn does not have a draft version. So as you're creating this, you want to stay within the character count of 2,600 characters. You want to tell a fulsome story. And again, something that, is great for the readers. Fantastic. So if there's any questions, feel free to jump in throughout. As you can tell, my brain is a little like a squirrel on some upper. I don't even know. My brain is busy, very, very busy. So can you include links in the about section? Not in the. You can put them there. They're not going to hyperlink. So I have in mind, as you can sort of see at the bottom, you can contact me, and my email address is at the bottom, but it's not hyperlinked, so somebody would have to cut and paste. 99% of the time, people are not, as far as I know, they're not looking at my LinkedIn profile and taking that action by cutting and pasting there. I just, as a marketer, am always thinking about, okay, so how am I encouraging my audience to take the next step? And I just include my email on everything, because I don't want to make it hard for people to find me or reach out to me. Okay, I'm going to continue on, but please feel free to jump in with any questions along the way, and I'll do my best to answer them. And hopefully you're all feeling comfortable with the pace, even though it's quick, but an hour is not a lot of time to go through all of this content. So feel free to take a screen grab of this slide as well. So this is a bit of a checklist about what you could include in your profile. I'm going to take a breath and say, you don't have to complete this all at once. This can be done over time. My role as a LinkedIn profile is to complete this for you and get it done all at once. But you can fully complete this on your own. The cover, the branding image, you want to have that visual. This is where I thought the algorithm was going to change and include, because I had read some things that the algorithm, or what is called the, I can't remember the acronym right now, but that AI is now reading images. And so I thought that there might be some value in the banner image, having keywords in there that may optimize in the algorithm. I haven't got a definitive answer about that. But what it does absolutely do from a behavioral standpoint is it increases dwell time. And that's what you want, is people to be on your profile a little longer. So I guess telling a long story isn't such a bad idea after all. The professional photo, your name. The one thing that's interesting about the name that I have been dabbling with a little bit is the acronyms that follow your surname. And I used to include them because LinkedIn says it's fine. So Leslie Hughes, Hughes, CM for chartered marketer, or MBA for those of you that have higher education. I used to include those because if you earned it, put it out there. And now I'm wondering if the algorithm doesn't downrank you a little bit. So I'd love to hear from other people whether you think that acronym is important or not for your surname. I'm kind of giving it a no, only because I want people to be found, especially if you have a really common name like I do. I don't want to be downranked. If people are looking for Leslie Hughes, they're not going to be looking for Leslie Hughes, whatever acronym. Okay, Heather's jumped in. You mentioned vanity metrics and connecting with people. That makes sense. In order to be intentional with the connection requests, there are a maximum number of connections and followers allowed. Yes, Heather, there is a maximum of 30,000 connections allowed. There's not a maximum number of followers, which are two different metrics, but yes, 30,000 seems to be the threshold of how many connections that you can have before you have to start to really cull your connections list. You can't send new invitations once you've sent out, I think, about 30,000 of those, if that makes sense. 30,000 is a lot, though. So these things, I don't think the acronyms or the credentials need to be specific in your role, profession, or uncommon to bring significant value. Yeah, so if I had an MBA, I'd be wanting to put that thing on everything. I'm just worried about it down ranking in the algorithm. So something to think about and be mindful, because LinkedIn allows you to do it. It's not a no-no according to LinkedIn rules and the terms and conditions. So name and then your headline. So again, I'm just going to reiterate again, because you're going to get a lot of information. Your photo, your headline, your about section. If you do nothing else, I promise you, even for people that work at LinkedIn, they will not have completed those 3 sections. They're the most important. If you have time, we're going to go further into more. So the featured section, which is also, again, a little bit more, I would like to say advanced. It's not advanced, but the featured section sits below the about section and allows you, again, for more visual treatments in your profile. So you could include PowerPoint presentations with some of the work that you've done, or a portfolio that you've worked on, video bios of you speaking, videos of the work that you've done, whatever visual collateral that you think is important for your network to see. The featured section also increases dwell time, and because we visually process information 60,000 times faster than text alone, these areas really help to balance out your profile from that visual perspective. So think about that, the featured section. Your experience section, I have in the past just cut and paste someone's resume from the resume right into the experience section with just bullet points of letting people know, again, folks sort of focusing on those keywords to be found and so forth, because why not, right? And just making sure that some of those keywords, again, are the ones that your clients are searching for, as opposed to how you define yourself. Like chief happiness officer sounds fun, but what does that mean? Is that what people are searching for in the search engine? And then skills is another section that I haven't really bothered with, because it seems like a word salad. Skills just seem to be a whole bunch of ridiculous words, but they do matter for the algorithm. And then if you're looking for employments, the skills section seems to be important. So it does help with job ranking and matching and so forth. So something to look at it as well. That's the easiest one, because the LinkedIn wizard will start to populate suggestions for you, and they're easy to click yes, just as you go. Okay, so feel free to take a screen grab of that as we move on. Okay, so that's just the first pillar, and there's so much more to cover about developing your LinkedIn profile, but I only have an hour to stay with you guys, or more if you want to stay on for questions and answers afterwards. As I said, your network is so, so very important. And I believe in quality network over quantity. As author Porter Gale says, that your network is your net worth. So building your network of connections is very important. And how this works, if you and I were connected on LinkedIn, which I hope we will be, then you and I would be first level connections, which means that anybody in my network would then be your second level connections. And why this is important, if you and I know each other, even if we've never met in person, we're just meeting on today's webinar, but there's somebody in my network of connections that you want to connect with, it's an easy icebreaker to say, hey, I happen to know Leslie, or I see that we both have Leslie in common. I would really love to stay in touch here. It's a great icebreaker to leverage those first level connections. And if, say, someone in my network is somebody that would be your dream customer, your dream client, your dream network, and I know them and I've worked with them, I might just facilitate that introduction for you. And this goes for anybody that is in that first level connections. I'm going to date myself. Some of you guys are maybe my age and older. I realize that the word Rolodex is no longer a term. Learned that a few years ago. So it's like your Rolodex for those of you that are maybe Gen X and above, that, you know, this network of connections that goes with you. That's what the LinkedIn network is all about. For those, you can Google what you can Google what a Rolodex is if you have no idea what I'm talking about. So that level of network is your level of connections is very important. So it's people that you know and people that you want to get to know. And it is absolutely okay for you not to accept every single inbound connection request from all over the world. And so there's ways to navigate through that. But I'm just sort of saying, stay focused. And this is where the vanity metrics come in, right? So 10,000, I've got 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. Those 10,000 followers are not all of my customers, right? They're not my clients. And so it looks fancy, but really what matters are the specific people in my network that are engaging with my posts, that actually show up and enjoy, and I interact with them and they interact with me. That's what matters, even though most of us are looking to sort of hit the sweet spot of, if I only get 500 connections, 1,000 connections, 10,000 connections, it doesn't really matter. Show up for the people that want to see you and that you want to see them, and that is much more important. So I give you full permission to be perfectly comfortable with building your network at your own pace and not expecting you to be this big fancy influencer out there that looks all fancy. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Okay, so getting into LinkedIn search, and this is just the basic, this is the unpaid account. As you are looking for outbound reach, you basically go through some keywords that you want to find your perfect connection. And some of those may be by title. And right now, before the LinkedIn algorithm changes into this new semantic-based search, you may want to get in there and dig around a little bit. So this is with the non-premium accounts. This is the basic accounts. You can go into, and I'm happy to take, if we have a second after the session, because I feel I'm going to run out of time. I can walk you through how to do this, but essentially you go into the search bar at the very top of LinkedIn and you type in whatever keyword you're looking for. Down the right rail, there's in the top navigation bar, you will see all filters at the top right-hand corner. You click on all filters and you can start to narrow down the focus, narrow down your selection of whom it is that you're looking for through those categories, through title, industry, location, and keywords. And so it helps you find the right people that you're looking for, and again, make those outbound connections by and you never want to pitch from the beginning when you're doing sort of outbound social selling. What you want to be doing is a handshake. For some reason, I'm not sure why we do this, and I know most of you have received these pitch slaps where you're getting hit by someone who's saying, hey, buy my stuff, without even introducing themselves. They're getting too busy too quickly to selling. LinkedIn and social media, one of the things that I encourage people to do from an etiquette perspective is, how would you show up to a networking meeting? Most of us would do a handshake and get to know each other before we start to pitch our businesses. So think about it from that perspective, that the cadence that you have for creating new relationships has to be earned over time. Reaching out to people and saying, hey, I noticed we were at the same event together. Hey, I noticed that we had the same person in common. I see that we're in the same print industry. Maybe you went to the same university or college. Those are great icebreakers that you can use to introduce yourself to someone, but don't start selling them right away. Do your best to nurture that relationship a little bit over time. Follow up in a week, or, actually I've got some slides in the next little bit about those outreach messages, that it should be done over time and earned. You're not going to win somebody over by sending them a sales pitch. It just doesn't work. And especially here in Canada, where it is really just not the way that we do business. As I said, focus on that quality network. Look for icebreakers in their profile. Let people feel that you have seen them, and it's not just you're randomly going through and clicking on the connect button. Here's the hiccup though, my friends. With the LinkedIn basic level, the unpaid level, you have a limited number of being able to personalize that connection request. And this makes me crazy. This is the best part of LinkedIn, is when you can personalize those connection requests. By personalizing, it means adding a note to when you're sending out the connection request. LinkedIn only gives you 3 a month now. 3 a month. It makes me crazy. So for some of you, if you're using LinkedIn more heavily than 3 a month, you may want to invest in a premium, in premium, LinkedIn Premium. And here's a little, because I don't work at LinkedIn and I'm not making any money. Here's a little side tip for you. You can get the career or jobs level. I think it's called Career Premium now, for less than Sales Navigator or Business. It's cheaper, and you get some of the same navigation. It's not the same level. I mean, it doesn't provide you with the same information as Sales Navigator or Business, but it does allow you to have unlimited connection requests. It allows you to see who's looked at your profile. There's other metrics in there that you may be interested in, and I think it's about $35 a month, as opposed to say over $100 per month for some of the other premium levels. So that's just a little side tip for you. And you can also try out LinkedIn for a month for free and see if you like it. But I wouldn't invest in it unless you're getting a return on investment. Here's another reason why I think you need to send personalized connection requests. So let's just say I have these 10,000 followers. I can look at the history of people that I have accepted their connection request. Typically, I start to like to create a dialogue between people that I've met at events. Proactively, before I attend an event, I'll send out a connection request saying, I see that you're speaking at this conference, looking forward to meeting with you. Or after the events, it was really nice meeting you at the OPIA event, looking forward to staying in touch. For me, that's another little trigger in my brain, so that if I've forgotten how I met them, then I can go back to that little conversation, and it triggers my memory, kind of like a customer relationship database in a way. Okay, so a lot of information, I know. Okay, so here are some examples. I'm not going to read through the slides word for word, but you send your personalized invitation. You send it out. It was great to see you at this event. Love to stay in touch. Then, if this is somebody that you would really love to work with, then follow up again saying, I really appreciate your posts, or I'd love to follow up with you again to discuss more about what's going on in your industry, different ways that you can deepen that relationship. And if they are posting, this is a great way for you to comment on their posts and things like that as well. But these are just like DMs that you would send on LinkedIn. You can also send them maybe a piece of information. Hey, notice that you're working in this industry. I actually have this one pager that you may be interested in, about with a whole bunch of tips to give them. You want to be giving and you want to be giving and building that relationship out of giving first before you ask for the sale, right? So I came across this article. I thought you might like it, whether you wrote it yourself or it's a third-party piece. Again, giving before you make the ask, and then qualifying whether they're the right kind of person to work with. You might say, hey, something that you wrote really stood out to me, would love to talk with you. So these kind of little gestures, little pieces of etiquette, little ways, little micro moments that you can do along the way that help to build trust and make people not so defensive about, like, what does this person want from me? If you're just literally looking to build out a network, if you're looking to, another great way to do is mutually connect people in your industry. Like, pay it forward sometimes by saying, hey, I know that you might be interested in meeting so-and-so. Oftentimes with the law of reciprocity, if you do that for other people, they might be more likely to do that back for you as well. So these are all a lot of tips. I know you're writing probably feverishly or just being like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to rewatch this session again because there's so much information. Okay, so let's just say you have the basic account. You only have 3 connection requests per month, and you're like, I don't want to pay for premium because it's, you know, it's a cost. One of the ways that you can sort of bypass the reaching out. Sometimes if you engage with people's posts and then you click on the connect button, or you ask mutual connections to introduce you, then it's a little easier. It's not easier. It's more work, quite frankly, if you don't have the personalized connect option. But there are workarounds. And so what are the other ways? Try to engage in their posts, see if they won't accept your connection request at that point again, or ask a mutual connection to introduce you. And then again, similar like the other one with the sort of introduction, that same follow-up formula of like, if you're getting an inbound connection request for them, hey, thank you so much for sending me an invitation to connect. I really love what you're doing. I love the work that you do. Would love to stay connected here. And following up again, this follow-up formula is very similar to the last slide that I showed you, just sort of a different treatment in a way. Okay, if there's any other questions, feel free to jump in. I'm just going to keep motoring along until anybody asks any questions. Okay, so we've covered the first impression. Great first impression. People are wowed. They're fascinated. They love what they see. You're making outbound connections to other people. You're building your network. You're accepting people's inbound connections. You're building an audience of people that you know, people that you want to get to know. Things are starting to hum along smoothly. And you're like, okay, so what's the next step? Well, the next step is building thought leadership and staying, as Lee was saying, staying top of mind. And I love the alliteration by an author and speaker. He's a professor at the Wharton School of Business by the name of Jonah Berger, who says the top of mind is tip of tongue. I love the alliteration in that. So you want to stay top of mind. You don't want to just set it and forget it. I'm really dating myself with the wrong OPIA. What was it? There was like a chicken. It was a set it and forget it chicken. I'm dating myself. So is creating great content that resonates with your audience is going to build trust. As I said, we are all media agencies now. And so it's a little bit incumbent upon us to create valuable content that people can read, can engage with, that helps them with their day. And what this does is it does build you as a thought leader, helping you stay top of mind with those people as a trusted, credible, insightful subject matter expert, that you're sharing more than just pitching, that you're sharing content. We are, my friends, in an information-based age. We've moved away from the industrial age, and we are now in an information-based age where, for good or for bad, I like it, some people not so much, inundated with so much information on a daily basis that people are overwhelmed with too many options. So we, as subject matter experts, have to narrow that down for them to help them make easier choices for which direction. And the more trusted you are, the more reliable you are, the more people are going to see you as that person that can help them make those decisions. It drives the discoverability, especially if you're talking about print in your niche. LinkedIn's algorithm is going to love this and is going to share this more with the network that wants to see more of what you have to say. If your clients are online, you want to be sharing great content with them too. And it doesn't have to be a lot of work. You can take existing content and repurpose it. If you've written things before, if you've done presentations before, take that same content and put it onto LinkedIn, right? Share it as micro blog posts, as tips of the day. And you really only need to be posting maybe once a week. I'm a heavy user. So there is a statistic that said that heavy users of LinkedIn, this is people that post more than once a week, that's a heavy user, more than once a week, is 1% of the 1.2 billion members online. What that means is there's more opportunities for people that are publishing because there's more lurkers than there are people that are creating and publishing content. It helps to strengthen engagement, and that piece of engagement is going to be more important with the algorithm than ever. You engaging in two-way conversations that are meaningful conversations that aren't just like, congrats on your latest blah, blah, blah. But, oh, I really love your insight on this. This is really interesting to me, and really diving into what they're posting about. And they're talking about what this is where we're creating relationships, we're creating engagement. The algorithm loves that. And as I said, it's going to differentiate your brand in a very highly competitive space as well. So share visibly, right? Posts that you can share on LinkedIn include, if you're at a trade show, listen, I hate a selfie. I'm Gen X. I hate a selfie. But I will ask someone else to take a picture that's a little bit more flattering than usually what ends up looking, what I look like when I take a selfie. I haven't got the angles down right. Or I take a picture of what I'm speaking at a conference, or if I'm at a booth, or if I see somebody impressive, or just show up. People love to see the visuals. So show your booth, show yourself, show your print, show what you're doing. People love it. And especially the people, like that amygdala part in our brain that is worried about what people are going to think. Your biggest cheerleaders, your biggest fans, your favorite clients are going to love seeing you show up, and they're going to cheer you on. So silence the noise of the haters going to hate in your brain. You think, oh, someone's going to judge me. Trust me, they don't have enough time to sit and judge. And if they're judging, that's on them. It's not on you. You show up, people are going to rally and cheerlead you and say, I love to see how successful things are going with you. Continue to do that great work. It's going to help your brand. And I promise you're going to see a lot of engagement as a result of it. Use stories and not sales pitches. So how have you helped a client solve a problem? You don't have to name names. You could say, I was working with a client last week and they had this challenge and this is how we overcame it. Those frequently asked questions are asked all the time. Put those in a document and then use those as posts for LinkedIn and otherwise that you can share with your network. And so celebrate those wins. If you're doing volunteer work in your community, share those as well. I happen to be a blood donor recipient, so I love to see when people donate blood and it's on LinkedIn, and I'm like, well, it's not LinkedIn related, it's not business related, but as a human being, thank you for anybody out there who has donated blood, because literally people like you have literally saved my life. So it's fine to put that you're doing things in the community, that you're volunteering, that you're giving your back, you're paying it forward. People love to see those kinds of things. We're human beings after all. So post those kinds of things as well. So do speak from personal experience. Keep it friendly. Don't jargon it up with too many acronyms of people trying to figure out what's an ROI, the KPIs of the. Keep it simple. Align with your brand values. Be consistent. So schedule time in your calendar for once a week. You can even schedule it on LinkedIn, like schedule your post. Typically, I have a newsletter that comes out every Tuesday at like 8:30, so I schedule it. And I just pepper in content throughout the week whenever I see fit. As I said, use visuals because we love to see that. Never share, obviously, client personal information. Don't get into conflict online. Don't get into a keyboard war. Ideally, stay away from politics when you can. Don't use overly promotional language. You don't want to be divisive. You want to be inclusive, and you want people to feel comfortable and safe engaging with you online. So a little bit of an engagement formula. Don't follow this word for word, but the idea is have a great hook of great information that people want to see it. Maybe share an insight with a statistic and a personal story. And then again, with the call to action, ask people to engage, invite them to join the conversation. That's going to help you with the algorithm. It's going to help you engage. It's going to help you build trust. It's going to make people feel welcome to engage with your posts. Be sure to respond to them, and ideally respond to them within the first hour of your posting. So when you post, even if you schedule it, if people are engaging with your post, you want to say thank you so much for your insight. Thank you so much. You don't want to just sort of leave them hanging, or as my son says, leave them unread. You don't want to do that. If people are taking the time to engage with your post, you want to acknowledge and thank them for that as well. And go ahead and engage with your clients' posts or prospective clients as well. Go ahead and proactively connect with people as you see it in your feed as well. So that insight, give a little bit of an expertise. I saw my client do this, and then we worked on this. That story of the human element story in it, add that call to action of engagement. And then if you can, include an image, a video bio. Videos are great. They're such a pain to record. As you can see, I have a big personality. I hate recording videos. I hate them, but I know they're beneficial. So just be thinking about that as well. Okay, so I'm getting sort of a time check. We have like 5 minutes remaining. So the one question I did get before, and we don't have many slides left, we're getting right to the nitty gritty. Should you post content from your personal page or your company page? And this is a great question. My advice to you is, if you have somebody who's already doing marketing for your organization, and in this example, you've got the Ontario Printing, the OPIA acronym. If you're following their page, and I encourage you to follow the page and join, follow the page and join, is to reshare those posts. If those posts are already being shared on social, it's just the easiest way for you to reshare content to your network without you having to create new content. So this is a great idea if somebody's already creating content for you. Now, I will say the metrics for a reshare is a little lower in the algorithm than your personal post. The organic personal posts rank higher, but this will still get you visibility by clicking on this reshare button and give a little context. So when it says reshare with your thoughts, always share with your thoughts. Always give a little context about why you're resharing this post and why they should see it. So that's a little easy way for you. So people connect with humans first, they connect with brands second. So ideally, your personal posts matter more than anything. Comment with your network. Comment mindfully on their posts, celebrate their achievements, celebrate them in the community. Here's another screen grab that you can save. Take a little screenshot of this. 1 to 2 times a week. At a minimum, be consistent. Quality over quantity. It's about progress, not perfection. If you focus on showing up on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, before and after the workday, let's just say 7 to 9 in the morning or 5 to 7 at night, that's just a sweet spot. There's no hard rule, no hard and fast rule about when to show up. Weekends, sometimes you get more visibility because there's less people posting on a weekend. So make it up as you go, look at your metrics, see what's working, and again, engage and post, and just do your best to show up regularly, once a week, once every other week. You want to stay top of mind, and it's not going to reach every follower. Your posts are not going to reach every single follower. As I said, with 10,000 followers, I'm seeing probably on a good day, 500 people see my post on a good day. So that's more than, 500 people is still a lot of people, but how many of those people are actually taking action that it actually isn't they're just scrolling through the feed? I want them to stop the scroll every time. All right, so I want you to commit to taking action. We're wrapping up in the next few seconds. I want you to commit to taking action this week. Share a post on LinkedIn, respond to other people's posts, comment or like on someone in your network. And the last thing I'm going to say as we wrap up, and I'm going to stay online longer for questions and answers, is last little bit of cheerleading of this concept of wabi-sabi or ikigai. I think it follows in the same sort of, I'm not sure exactly where it falls within this art, the Japanese form of the world view centered on acceptance and transient imperfection. None of us are perfect. So in this example, the bowl has been re-glued back together with gold because it's actually the imperfections that make it beautiful. And so while I talk a lot, I've got a lot of information I've just given you. You're drinking from the fire hose. I beat myself up every time for giving too much content, being too excited about this. But that's what makes me me. And if I showed up today and said, today we're going to talk about LinkedIn, it wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be authentically me. I welcome you to accept your imperfections. We are all human. It's about progress, not perfection. Click send. I promise, once you start to do it, you will get more comfortable with it. If it's outside your comfort zone, you will get more comfortable with it. And iterate and refine it as you go. It's not, don't worry, get out of your head. You've got this. Nobody knows what you know from your perspective. Let yourself shine online. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if I can help you. The QR code there is for my LinkedIn profile directly. I probably should have included the URL to my profile, but please feel free to reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn. And I will stop and I will breathe, and we can open it for questions if anybody else wants to stick around at this point.
Thanks so much, Leslie. We'll also send out your LinkedIn and your website to all of the people that are on the call today so that they can, look for that email. And, I know people are going to start having to hop off with scheduling. We will leave the session open for any questions.
Excellent question, Heather. So you recently learned that comments should be about 14 words. I haven't heard about that actual quantity, but definitely most than congrats or agree. People are starting to think that that's just the algorithmic response of like, oh, congrats, because you can just click on those, right? The AI has AI generated content. So definitely something more thoughtful than simply, congrats or those kinds of things. So yeah, those are great sales triggers though, as far as looking at people have had milestones, accomplishments. We're kind of getting into a little bit deeper. If you're looking at sort of those social selling cues, I can always come back and talk to you about social selling cues and so forth. But yeah, definitely thoughtful, mindful conversations are better than just I agree and congratulations. So great question, Heather, or comment.
And just before people jump off, I just want to share that next month we're going to have a session specifically on AI-based automation and agentic AI in print specifically. So we'll be sending out information about that if you enjoyed this session, and we thank you all for joining us, those of you that have to leave at this point. Hopefully you'll enjoy next month's session as well, and you'll see the registration form sent out and posted of that shortly. But since Leslie is here, if there are any other questions that people have, I know that she's been generous enough to stay on the line for a little bit anyways, if we've got anyone else that's got questions.
So one thing I've learned over time, Lee, is like I will create the presentation and keep adding more slides, which is why I have so much to say. Because when people have questions, I want to make sure they're answered. So I usually add in all those little frequently asked questions in the deck, which is why I end up going right to the 11th.
No, it's great. I mean, again, we got it all recorded as well. So we will make sure that this is available for the attendees to rewind, go through, take notes if you weren't able to get some of those particular tips. There's a question from Matthew in the chat. Do videos get priority over images in the algorithms? Any sense of that?
I don't have any statistics about that, but there are definitely some tips because yes, LinkedIn has preferred videos over anything that's new on LinkedIn. They tend to boost that through the algorithm. You'll notice like somebody who's recently a new connection, you'll see more of their posts. But speaking specifically of videos, LinkedIn does seem to like to prioritize videos. The dwell time will certainly be longer, and also a recommendation would be to make sure that you have either closed captioning and or the scripting at the bottom, because not only just for accessibility purposes, but people often will watch without the sound on. So video shows and tells. It'll show your personality, it shows your work, all those things. So video is definitely, and you can repurpose that not just to LinkedIn, but to other social channels as well. So video is great. It's just a pain in the butt because it's easy for me to tell other people, any of you that have recorded videos, it's harder than it looks.
Fantastic. All right. We are putting on a whole series of these throughout the year. Our next one is on agentic AI. If you need Leslie's contact information, we've got it up on the screen, but we'll make sure that it gets sent out to everyone as well. So that, please connect, obviously on LinkedIn, if not anywhere else. And, if you've got further questions, I'm sure she can help you out. Thanks so much, everyone, for being on the call and joining us. Thank you so much, Leslie, for participating and leading this. It's so much great information. Again, we're the OPIA. We are the leading advocate for Ontario's print and graphic communications industry. If you have suggestions of things you'd love to see in a future session like this, we would love to hear from you. You can contact myself, you can contact the team. We're happy to hear what would be of interest to you in this series. Really appreciate everyone being here. Hope you have a great, safe, warm rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Leslie.
Thank you so much for having me.
See you on LinkedIn.